you know how when we were younger, like that's all our parents used to talk about. Like our dads used to be like, "Oh yes, in the village you will sing, da, da, da. We party, we turn up." It's just like, okay, possibly there's some trees, some goats. Like, what do y'all do? Like, you don't know what to expect. But then when you finally like you're driving in, and then you just see like the scenic, overlook. There's houses. There's huge houses. There's different things going on. Like it just totally changes your perception, like completely.
Welcome to another episode of The First Gems. Today we have a very special guest. We have Uba Obasi. Hey.
You forgot the prince, but right. I'm gonna let it go.
Oh my gosh. So Uba is our cousin, also Jada's brother, and he is here because we're doing a very special episode where we're discussing our recent trip back home to the village. Does anybody want to let the people know where are we talking about?
Abiriba. Oh.
You gotta say Abiriba. People in the back, people don't even know. They're like, what? Abiriba. Yes.
Just letting you know off rip, this is probably gonna be the most unprofessional episode y'all ever gonna have.
Professional.
What does that mean? Is that a threat? I was just like, Lou, stop the cameras.
The truth.
Right. So before we get into the good stuff, I would just like everybody to notice something. We all kind of like matching. What do we got on? What does your shirt say, Oba?
It says culture, community, look them up.
Wow.
The First Gems.
That's right. Right. Jada, would you like to let the people know what this is? Can they get one? Where can they find it?
Absolutely. If you want to be fly like the First Gems and rep, but us, well, just for you, it's for you really, but you can find our shirts and other merchandise on our official website, thefirstgems.com. Check it out, support, rock it, tag us when you post it, when you're rocking it, let us know how you like it, and yeah.
All right. So before we get into the good stuff, we always, Oba, welcome to the First Gems. We know you've been listening since day one. You've been supporting since day one and all that. And,
it's the first person to purchase the shirts.
Oh yeah, he really was the first person. He got the exclusive. So thank you again for coming on. And before we really get deep into episodes, we like to start off with a little icebreaker. So super casual, just to keep the conversation going. So the icebreaker for today is everybody's gonna go around and say one Abiriba word that they know.
Oh, okay.
You can't repeat something that somebody else said. And you can't use cop because Anna.
What? How are you gonna give away the secret?
Because y'all probably were all thinking like, I'm just gonna say cop.
Can we phone a friend?
No. Not.
Hello, yeah, they want me to say
Okay, what about Imao?
Hey!
It means, how are you? How you doing?
And a response to that would be Odema, which means I am fine.
Yes.
That's not fair.
But I saw an opportunity and I took it.
Okay, let me think of something.
Well, she's thinking. The only word I could think about is ewu.
Hey.
Ewu. It means goat.
Oh.
Can you use it in a sentence?
I thought you were saying like, ew, like.
I know,
No.
That's what I heard.
No.
I was like, okay, that's good answer.
I think it's spelled EWU. I think ewu. It means goat. So my dad uses it as an insult when he's in traffic. So. That's
Oh
how I
my
remember
God.
it.
I actually didn't know that. I actually didn't know what goat meant. So, thank you. You learn something new every day. And last but not least.
Okay, this just in.
Oh my God. Lifeline.
Oh, okay. Here's one that I kept hearing. What? I always get choked up on the pronunciation, so don't come for me. It's very simple. Be cool. Wait, that's not really.
Isn't that just Igbo?
That's all I was saying.
She
So
said
what's the
Biko.
difference between Abiriba and Igbo? Because
I don't think it's like a difference. It's kind of like just like a dialect. So it's kind of like Abiriba people say certain words that that people don't say in traditional Igbo. Because I remember I was saying something to someone and they were like, "What?" And I was just like, "Oh." And then when I went back home and I like asked my dad, he was like, "Oh, that's Abiriba dialect." So we say that in Abiriba, but they don't say that in just normal Igbo.
When I was in Lagos one time, somebody was saying that it's basically like it's like an older way. I mean, obviously because it's from the village, but
Yeah, it's like more of an ancient language.
Not ancient.
not ancient, but yeah.
okay, well, God, that's pretty much.
Girl. Okay.
Oh my God.
How me?
Ka means hey, hey, Ka.
It means like more things, I think.
What else?
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ka.
Good morning.
Ka. Yeah.
Or it's just like acknowledging somebody's presence, like,
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, that was good. That was good. You all get points for that. That was good. I'm sure the people who are watching are going to be proud of us. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we did good. So, does anybody want to give the audience like an explanation of where Abiriba is and why we went before we kind of get into like the best moments of us being in Abiriba and all of those things? Come on, I can't keep
Okay.
That you.
Okay. For anyone who is familiar with Nigeria, Abiriba is located in the east in Abia State. And it's, I mean, usually when we're on the road there, I couldn't tell you like direct coordinates, but just know that it's in the east. And the main reason why we go back is just a festive period. December is a time when pretty much everyone from all over, like if you have roots in Abiriba, you're going there to celebrate weddings, uche ceremonies, like different traditional ceremonies and celebrations. It's a lot of, it's just a festive period, back-to-back parties, events. We're celebrating people's accomplishments throughout the year, and then you're just linking up with family, enjoying the food. It's just pure enjoyment and vibes. Like
that was a great way, yes. Pure enjoyment.
I like to go to just recharge and get inspired for the next year coming. Yeah.
Good. That was lovely. Yeah. And it's also like a very small village. It's like a small community. So everybody literally knows everyone. Everybody, like, a lot of people will come to you like, "Oh, you're my cousin, you're my cousin, you're my cousin." And that's kind of like a lot of what we experience. And it's just like a tight-knit, close community. And you get a good opportunity to meet and connect with people, which is what we did on our last trip. It's just good vibes. And like Jada said, literally pure enjoyment.
Every day. Can you imagine that? Like just 2-3 weeks of just like waking up and just vibes, like amazing.
I know people usually always go like towards like the holidays, so December into January. I do want to ask Oba, what's it been like going in other months to Abiriba? Like, what was your experience like?
Well, it was still the same thing basically. I mean, it wasn't like as many events, but it was still like when we would go, it would be, oh, somebody's having a burial, so they're throwing a party, or somebody's having a wedding, so it's a party. Like it was still parties going on back to back type, but just not as much obviously.
Yeah.
But it was still really cool because it's like you just get this like country vibe in Africa. I don't know how to explain it, but it's basically that. Yeah, that was cool.
You could Google the Littest village in Africa.
Yes. Somebody put that in big words on the screen. The Littest village in Africa.
I mean,
flames coming out.
It's so hard to describe it because when we say we're going home versus like I have a whole bunch of Nigerian friends and friends from all over, the motherland. And so we're all like, yeah, I'm going to go home. Yeah, I'm going to go see my people. Yeah, I'm going to my village. I'm like, well, I'm going to Abiriba. And it's so funny because people think like, okay, well, isn't it your village? And I'm like, technically it's a kingdom village turn up spot. Mega mansion in the middle of nowhere. Like it's a lot, but it's home. So I love going back. But let's get into the experience, the culture.
Yes. So what are some, we're not going to spend time going through all of them, but what are some cultural traditions practiced in Abiriba?
There's the Uche ceremony.
What is that?
That's the most memorable one. It's like a retirement celebration of life type thing. So once a man reaches a certain age, it's around like 60 to 63, they have their own Uche, and like their whole age grade has their Uches within that 3-year period. And it's just it's a day party, and everybody eats, drinks, then you get gifts from people. People announce like all the things that you've done throughout your life, and then like people come up and they say like how you've impacted their life in a positive way. Hopefully not in a negative way. I don't know.
But show up at your Uche. Like,
I mean, hey, you never know. You never know, but that's basically what it is. Like everybody just tells everybody else how great you are, or that you're a man of stature or a woman of stature. Because even women have Uches too. So that's cool.
Yeah. There's something that you mentioned, Oba, just to give some context. So like an age grade, correct me if I'm wrong, we also have that in our tradition. And I think it's unique because just think about all of our dads who were either born in the same year, grew up, went to school together. Like if you're within a close age range, like we are at the First Gems, like you're in age grade. So from primary school until the rest of your life, like that's your
kind of like a little like sorority frat type of thing. If you really think about it, it's like, oh, this is your line, your age grade. I just kind of like put it into context to something that like,
and they each have their own distinct name too, and their own little chants. And their own little outfits. You're right. But it's literally like what Oba was saying, an Uche ceremony. It'll be all of y'all having your individual parties in your own houses. But you're all still like celebrating each other. Because imagine you made it from elementary diaper days to like your 60s. Your
60s. Like, that's crazy.
And y'all be together reflecting on life. So I think that's cool too.
But I'm supposed to sign up for mine whenever I next go, because I just did my I don't know. I gotta ask my dad. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably some dude in the back room with the ledger. And you gotta sign up. I don't know. You gotta give him 5,000 naira or something. I don't know. I don't know what their process is.
Basically, the eighth grade is for life. Okay, so once you start, you don't stop. So that would be interesting to see how.
And then, so your age grades are also in charge of like doing things for the community. Like funding hospitals, doing fundraisers, uh, donating, So that's what those ACIU meetings. I'm talking about all this stuff, but yeah, that's what eighth grade is.
Yeah. So to clarify, Oba's trying to say that in terms of like the community, they're giving back to Abiriba. So all of these age grades were put in place to help build up Abiriba. And sustain and build up Abiriba. So I think it's like a very beautiful thing. That was a good one to call out. What's another tradition?
Well, Oba just participated in one this December. He could tell us about it. What is
yes.
What's significant?
Is it
I can't sing the song for copyright, but
what? Oh, yeah, bro.
Can't sing it.
Yeah, so basically, I had to strip down to my drawers and ride out to the woods and hunt a bird. And then I went to like my uncle's houses and my dad's friends' houses and my master's house, and just show them that I'm a man, basically. And you're supposed to yell out a chant. How does it go again? So somebody says it T to you, and then you say Jamaman.
Then you jump up.
It's something. Ilikuru. I don't remember the words, but basically what you're saying is, I went to the woods, I hunted a bird, I shot the bird fell, I collected it, and I'm a warrior. That's basically what you're saying. So after you say that, they say Jamaman, and then they pour sand on your head and give you money if they nice. The lowest amount I got, this dude gonna pour sand on my hair and he gonna give me 50 naira. I was like, bro. You just might as well just keep this, bro. Like, that's disrespectful.
Oh my God.
Disrespectful. For the people who don't know how much 50 naira is, it's basically 500 now is $1, right? So 10 cents. 10 cents. Come on, bro. And he was one of the people that poured the most sand on my hair. Like, I was so.
And I saw people were like avoiding your hair because you have like a lot of hair. So I saw people like kind of pouring it on your neck because they didn't want you to get it in your hair. Oh my God. How was that washing that out?
Oh my gosh. It was terrible. I didn't even have shampoo in Nigeria. So it was actually the first time I took a shower, I did I wet my hair and I was trying to get it out. It wasn't getting out. So I let my hair dry and I like stood in the bathroom. I was shaking it. It was a pile of freaking sand that was in the bathroom. It was terrible. But I did make a lot of money though that day. I'm not gonna lie. So it was fine, I guess.
Wow, that's good. So now, like when you did that, you're now officially considered a man in Abiriba. Like without doing that, you're technically not considered a man, right?
Yeah. So without, so it's different. It's different events that you do. The first one you do is the bird one. Usually, boys do it at like 12 or so, but I was the only 20-year-old running around doing it. So, and then after that, you're supposed to do your.
Is it?
I forgot what the other. Yeah. It's the Igbo, and then after that is basically like your Uche ceremony. Yeah. And then between those, you're supposed to have like chieftaincies and stuff like that. So. Yeah.
It's basically different miles in your life, basically. So it's like, okay, say you're a child and then there's a coming of age, like just like how Jewish kids, they do their bat mitzvah, or, you have your sweet 16, like that's just what marks you becoming a man. And then throughout those times, you accomplish just different things. You join an age grade, you contribute to your community, you're coming back every holiday period or so. You're just involved. And then you hit a time period where you're like midlife. So that would be your Iguaman. And then you're still reflecting on what you have accomplished thus far, and then continuing on, and then finally Uche.
And this is why we have so many celebrations going on.
Yeah,
And celebrate a lot of different milestones in your life that you want to give thanks to and celebrate with your people.
Okay, so another ceremony, my favorite, a wedding. Get to marry, who is getting married? Please don't. But
slash wine carry.
Slash wine carrying, because it's just the whole look, marrying as an Igbo woman, like you can't just do anyhow. And it's the same for the guys. Like weddings and Abiriba are like bread and butter. Like they're churning them out every weekend, every day, every holiday, 5 a day. The pastor business out there, that's
you guys, I really want to talk about like the first time that we put up to Abiriba. Like what were your expectations, and then like how do you feel now going there?
Wow, that's a wow. Wait, that's
like okay, you know how when we were younger, like that's all our parents used to talk about. Like our dads used to be like, "Oh yes, in the village you will sing, we party, we turn up." And it's just like, okay, possibly there's some trees, some goats. Like, what do y'all do? Like? You don't know what to expect. But then when you finally like you're driving in, and then you just see like the scenic, overlook. There's houses. There's huge houses. There's different things going on. Like it just totally changes your perception, like completely.
Yeah, that's actually great that you bring that up. I remember the first time I went to Abiriba, it was in 2016, and I hadn't been to Nigeria since I was like 7. So that was just like a long time of not being into Nigeria. I kind of completely forgot a lot of things. But the minute like we got to Nigeria, Aba, and then to Abiriba, like everything started clicking to me. It's kind of like I started getting memory flashes of when I was younger, and a lot of things that our dad would always tell us growing up, it just made sense. Like I felt like everything was just connecting. I was just like, oh my God, like this, like I can't believe I waited this long to come back. Like everything just seemed so in sync. I wanted to always come back there. I wanted to like help develop Abiriba. I still do. Like I just want people to know about this place that we're from that has so much like culture, tradition, history. Like the very first time I was kind of like, there were some things that were kind of like a little bit of like a culture shock in the lifestyle a little bit, just kind of like certain amenities that we have here just isn't in the village, but it wasn't things that was like off-putting where I was like, oh no, I just cannot do this or anything. It was like an experience for me. I was just like, okay, well, shower with a bucket.
No, the worst part was when like the internet was tripping. Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
You said the internet?
Like, yeah, like, well, that was in Lagos. Like I didn't have a SIM card. I had to get a new SIM card in Lagos. But the first time I went to Abiriba, I was 12, and then it was for Grandpa's funeral. Mm-hmm. So this time was Casey's first time in Nigeria and in Abiriba. So I was giving her a house tour of Grandma's house in the village, and I was like, so I took her around the whole house. And I was like, oh, Casey, guess what's in this room? And she was like, what? I was like, Grandpa's very right there. She was like, what? She ran out the room. She ran out the room. I was crying laughing.
Jada, remember when we found out like where our grandparents were buried too, our first time?
Yeah. And then the next time when it was Kalaria's first time, I did the same thing to her.
I thought I was going to take this long walk. I was like, okay, we're about to walk through the village, go to the cemetery. And then when we were going to the other part, so we live in a compound. So we live in a family compound in Abiriba, and that's how it's usually set up. Like your family's paternal side, I guess I would say, yeah, paternal side, have like a family compound, and everyone lives on that compound. So your uncles, your cousins, all from the same parents live in the same compound. So you're just there with your whole family living in one compound house. I'll just say house. And it's like really good vibes. So we were going from one side of the compound to the other. And I was like, okay, we walking through the front house and we gonna walk out the gate and we gonna go to the cemetery. And then my little cousin, she like turns to, it's not like a living room. What is it? Is it like it's not a living room because
it's like it's a den. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
and like
it's a sitting room. It's a sitting room.
Yeah, like a sitting room. And she walks in and she just like, here. And I'm like, where? And then she's just like, they're here. And I was like, in the house? Like how I was trying to wrap my head around it. I was like, how is this even possible? And then she's like, oh, they're buried under. And I thought, like at first, it wasn't something that I was used to, so it was a shock. But then later I was kind of like, wow, like this is actually like a very interesting tradition. I didn't know that was part of our culture. And, you know, some people might view it as something like kind of creepy a little bit, but I think it's actually really beautiful because it's like your ancestors are always
with you.
Yeah, and it's like you're always guided and blessed because they're there watching over you. So when you think about it, it's actually like a really beautiful concept that, you know, you're able to rest. You're able to rest eternally in the where your family and the generations are going to continue to be like. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, it kind of is where home is too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, like the first time I was there, it was under like a whole different circumstance. So the second time I went, when I was 18. Okay, so I went back to Nigeria when I was 18, but I was in Lagos. I didn't even go to the village. Mm-hmm. So then the third time I was in Nigeria, I was 21. Mm-hmm. And we were in Abiriba, and it was just like I was just partying with my dad and my uncles and stuff. Yo, dad. And it was just fun. Like it was just fun because I was finally an adult, you know, and I don't know, it was just different. I started learning how to get around.
Yeah.
I was so for the fourth time I came, when y'all came, I was their personal driver.
I'm not going back to Nigeria without you.
And it was just a really good experience, really great. And like I plan on moving to Nigeria when I'm like 30. When I'm 30. Yeah, I plan on moving.
Wow.
Not to the village, but to Nigeria.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just as a there are natives who live in the village all year round, all the time. But most people, they have a home elsewhere, let's say like in the city in Lagos or in Aba or Port Harcourt, and they come to the village during that festive period. Some people come throughout the year because they're building houses or they're planning an event and they need to go in and check on their house. But for the most part, it's Abiriba's not as full throughout the year as it is in December. It's like everybody's like just coming back home and migrating back home. So just to give that context out there too, like, so.
It's kind of like you have a vacation spot or like a timeshare, but it belongs to you or whatever. It does get pretty lively during Easter time. And then they have like the New Yam Festival. And then there's another time period where it's the Abiriba New Year. Apparently their New Year, their calendar starts in the middle of the summer, which I found interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, so they have different times where it's pretty lit, but for sure December is the littest. So if you and checking it out, or you know somebody, you have a friend who is from Abiriba, I mean, tag along and you'll just be able to witness for yourself.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience. It's like something you just haven't experienced because you can't get that vibes here in the States. It's just real authentic, like vibes, pure enjoyment. So
it's like you really can't experience it anywhere else because you literally go from house to house, party to party. You got the best bottles, you got Dom P, Remy, any XO, like it's like
yeah.
So it's just fun. And then like even on like my dad's pre-Uche, the whole block was shut down because how many cars it was crazy.
That was crazy. Epic. Yeah. Like it's definitely an open environment. It's one of those things where everyone has their doors open. Like, well, like you can just go in. If there's an event, you don't have to be like, oh, who do you know here? It's really just, we're all Abiriba people. We're all one big family. Just imagine a whole town where everyone knows everyone, and any event, like you could go in, they serve you, you get food, you get like, I was saying, you get food, drinks, enjoy, party. Like some people have after and after parties. And one thing about Nigerians, they don't know when the party is over.
Yeah.
Like you'll be going to sleep. You'll be going to sleep and all these people still at your house. Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. They don't know when the party's over. And even I heard in Lagos, there's like this 24-hour, they have this challenge at this club where if you stay for a full 24 hours without leaving, like you get money or something like that. Like I was like, yeah.
People bringing sleeping bags.
Yeah.
I was gonna, before we started talking about partying, I was gonna say my first experience. I wanted to touch on just highlighting more so about family, because my first time in Abiriba, I was like 2 or 3, and the only reason why I could remember a lot of that trip is because I have pictures of like, oh, this is the time that you met your grandma. This is the time that you met this family member. So I think my earliest memory was just like, oh, these are my people. Like, these are family members who to this day, like, I recognize your face. I still have some of those memories. They know you by name. Like, it's home. So I think it's cool to go back to Abiriba and be recognized. Like, just imagine people who go home. They're like, you're from this family. You're so-and-so's daughter. And I think that goes hand in hand with like the party. Like everyone wants to enjoy their lives, but everybody knows everybody. Like that's why. And I think it's just a really open and welcoming community by tradition. And I just love the whole, it's like work hard, party hard, and take care of your people. Like that's the mantra really. So
yeah.
And that is something to get used to because you'll just be at an event and then somebody will walk up on you. They know your whole history. They're like, "Oh, your dad is, and your uncle is, and your auntie." It's like, bruh, it's like, it's like.
I would say that because I think it was 2016 or maybe 2018, we were hanging out with somebody, and he literally like named the whole family tree and just ran. And I'm like, to us, like. To us that are, we grew up in America, we're thinking like, is this the ops? Like, is this the CIA? Everybody, and they could tell you. But that's actually a good tool to have, like just knowing like who you're speaking to, because I mean, you can be telling your business to whoever, but I think it's really smart to, know like whose family is who, what their background is and XYZ. Like I'm learning that now.
Right. All right. So yeah, like all great things. I love the way like this conversation's going and flowing. Like I really think that this could potentially be a part 2 because there's just a lot to uncover.
It has to be. Has to be.
Yeah. And one thing we didn't get to touch on is really like, what was everyone's favorite moment in Abiriba?
Wow. There honestly was so many for me. I don't really know if I could just pinpoint one. I want to say like the first couple of days when everybody was arriving, like my heart was just like, oh my God.
Man,
it was like just imagine being on vacation and like one by one, like your best homies is pulling up and everybody's just happy to see each other and you're just, it was beautiful. And then just seeing like family that you haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
That was like the icing. And for us, like seeing our entire like family together for the first time, that was very emotional. So one of my favorite moments. Yeah, seeing everybody dressed up looking amazing on my dad's big day. That was really, I loved it. Like I just love being Nigerian. I love being from Abiriba and seeing like our traditional clothing, the music, just it was so beautiful, like amazing.
If y'all watched Marvel Endgame, where all the different characters came back,
oh yeah,
came out, you're like, oh my god, it's the Black Panther. Like people just pulled up.
Yeah,
that's really what it felt like.
Yeah,
like, you too? Oh, you came back, like
cameras was panning, and then you see somebody's name pop across the screen, like Enuda.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, for me to go, I will say this year they stepped it up with the entertainment, like
man,
strobe lights, fog machines, like
wait, don't steal my favorite day. Don't steal my favorite day.
I was gonna say that.
Don't steal my favorite day.
That's what I was gonna say.
I wasn't expecting to see any of that, and I mean I should have, because other people do the most.
They do the most,
but like. Literally,
we're literally at another party and we see the lights from across the village.
Yeah. felt like Batman being.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So what she's talking about is Sam Chukwu's party in remembrance for his dad. So it was like basically his dad's Uche.
It makes me feel like, dang, this is like Vegas. This is like just. I don't even know. So I'm excited to see what's next. What can they come up with next time?
Well, what are the things they had? Let the people know.
Oh, the fireworks and the strobe lights and
the military shooting every 5 seconds.
Drummers, a bar. They had a
bar,
right. They had bombs.
Yeah, this robot.
Huh?
This robot walking. This robot with the shotgun. Well, it was a gun with
champagne gun.
Champagne bottle. Yeah, champagne gun. There you go.
There was more. I feel like there was more. Y'all, there was like chicken, the food, the suya.
They had the games.
Yes, they were playing like these scavenger hunt game. Like that was really cool. Yeah.
It was fun. That was so since Anna stole my first one, I'll go with my second one, which was my dad's pre-Uche. It was probably my favorite day. So the pre-Uche is since the Uche is the day party, the pre-Uche is the night party the day before the Uche. So I was just watching everything come together, like watch the DJ pull up and watch my cousins and my homies pull up, and you see all the women, you see a bus full of chicks just pull up. You're like, hello, what are we doing? You know, have my table, have my cousins, we had the bottles, and then I was over here running errands. I was the only person working.
No, at the pre-Uche? Are you serious?
Yes.
The reason why everybody had drinks was because of me and Effie.
Period.
Like me and Effie were running. We went and got the DJ to change the music from whatever country bumpkin thing he was playing to some poppin' music because the young people were not having fun.
Well, I had quit after I was the only person working. I quit, and then I had to disappear in the corner so that nobody would be calling me. Everybody was like, "Oh, Obasi son, Oba." I'm like, had to pretend like I couldn't hear. I was just walking by. Pretend like I was on the phone. Everybody kept calling me every which way.
Oh my god!
But yeah, that was probably my favorite day. Second favorite.
So to touch on what Oba was talking about the pre-uche, it's really, to my understanding, it's really supposed to be for the younger people to enjoy, because the next day is like where all the old people come. So really that night before was like the younger people's time to shine and entertain their friends, because the next morning our parents enjoy their friends, which is like the older generation. So like we tried our best. We had our first hand at hosting, which was like a new thing to us, like making sure everybody's good and, you know, getting people drinks, making sure the music, like people are dancing, everybody's comfortable. It's a safe community. So like it's safe fun. And then it's just like preparing us for like what we're going to be doing as we get older, hosting parties or events for, you know, next generation. So I think that was a great learning experience, because at first I was like, I did not sign up for this. I got my little outfit on. Like, I'm not about to be walking around. But then I realized, like, okay, it makes sense that, okay, we're having an event tomorrow. I'm the first daughter. Like, it's good to just go around and introduce yourself and host, because that's what you're going to be doing in the years to come.
I'm down with going around and introducing myself, but for my parties, I'm going to be hiring people.
Yeah. Look, when my dad comes around, will I just be lifting fingers? No. Look, I'm talking all this mess right now. Watch the day of come.
Sweating.
Like I'm in a sweatshop. Like,
no, on my dad's Uche, I walked 20,000 steps, over 20,000,
and didn't even leave the compound.
I literally circles.
Wow,
it's crazy. You would look pissed.
He was pissed
that day. Like every time I see him, he's like.
Cause like, oh my gosh, imagine 4 people calling you for the same thing, and then like random people acting like they know you. It's just, oh my gosh. It was like, but Tanita, what was your favorite day?
Oh, my favorite. Okay, so I mean, y'all took a lot of good ones, but good thing in Abiriba, the good memories never end. So, I would say it was actually one of the first nights where inside our compound we had like a random night where we just went up to like the patio and in grandma's section, and we just played music and danced as the family like all night long. It was so random, but it wasn't random. It was for our birthday. It was for our aunt's birthday.
But it still was like, because we was just supposed to go up there
and sing happy birthday. Yeah. And it literally just turned into our family like dancing to hella music. Like I remember we had like this little JBL speaker, and our uncle went to his apartment and he pulled out this big ginormous speaker like, oh, like we got to do it big boy style. So he literally like brought this big old speaker, he rolled it in, he started blasting music, like we were turning up, like, and then even some of the people in the village from a different house, they came into our compound and they started like doing this dance. Like it was so lit, like it was pure vibes. And then all you can see is in our compound we have the statue of our grandparents, and you could just like literally see them facing us while we're just up there in the family, like as a family having a good time, just like enjoying life, enjoying each other's presence. And we woke our grandma up and she came in partying, like it was just so amazing. Like that was like one of our first nights, and I was like, yeah, everybody's about to really go up. Like even our aunts were dancing, uncles, like it don't matter. Like young, old. That's one thing about Abiriba, like young, old, middle age, like everybody is going to enjoy and have a good time.
Every party. Remember that at Dr. Makalu's, that little girl that was just turning up?
Where? Oh yes. Yeah. Footwork.
At It's crazy because it's like literally everybody goes to the same parties. It don't matter what age. And it's just, well, I mean, after like 2, that's when, you know, it's mostly young people. That's where you need to be.
I remember I had to tap out like twice. There was 2 days where I just stayed home because I was like, bro.
Like honestly, guys, like I cannot. Like I need sleep.
And one thing my dad told me before coming, he was like, he was like, you're not ready for Abiriba, like you can't handle it. And my dad, he's a big jokester, so like me and him have that banter where I was like, man, what you talking about? Like, yes I can. And he's like, okay, we'll see. So when I was like laid out on the bed tired, like he was just like, I told you. He was like, I told you, what did I tell you? You can't handle this posse. And I was like, well,
that stamina is on something else. I'm like, dang, I can't compete with these some girls. They be like, ready for the next one.
No, one thing, they're different. They're built different. They're made different. Like you're in your 60s, still lit every day.
The first time I tried to keep up with my dad and Uncle Aku, I was like, bro, I need to go to sleep, bro. I was like, y'all do so much because they was beer. I was like. I was like, man, this is too much. I need to go to sleep, man.
I think one of the best things that occurred this time was there was a forum. There was like a chat forum beforehand, so you're able to like chat with people ahead of time or just network that way. Networking a little bit easier, so that when you did go to these different, you could promote your events. So that was a part of our duties as our dad's kids, was to like promote the fact that having a pre-Uche and then to invite people to his Uche ceremony as well.
So y'all had the flyers ready. You were passing them out like hotcakes. Like,
we had the shirts.
I passed out the posts.
You did.
Yeah. As you should, because you're the only son, and that's what you got to do, period. Anyways, and then there was like this impromptu party at Sam, Michael, and David's house where all the young folks got together. Littest thing, because it just set the tone for the trip. We got to meet people from like Atlanta, North Carolina. There was some Cali people in there, and it's just like, yeah, youth. So I enjoyed the rest of the time because we had made friends that very first week that we were there. So the entire trip, it was like we were just linking with people.
And then we'll be asking, y'all pulling up to this one? Oh, no, that one dead? All right, we gonna go see, yeah.
We like really was like coming with a whole crew, like a whole like
we was coming like 15, 20 deep. Yeah. Every party was.
Yeah, that was the vibe.
We literally was the party.
Right.
Really.
One other thing, I don't mean to keep like adding more on, but I will say something that I thought was really beautiful to see was the community event that we went to, the City to Village. I thought it was so amazing.
Yeah, City to Village. So I think that's one of my favorite things to see is those age grade, just people from the community, even people who marry into the community. Like people just really want to give back as much as they want to party and turn up. And so that has grown to be like a family project through the years where we really focus on an issue, and our focus was on women and young children and providing like menstrual hygiene support. And then also just giving a meal, like it's the holidays. So passing out chickens and food and just getting together in the early morning after a big old party and just giving back to the community. Like, and my favorite thing too is just putting like, just meshing two communities, two different experiences like together. I thought it was fun to go to Sam's party and meet all those people from the group chat who I feel like I otherwise wouldn't have gotten to know. And so it's the same thing when we like put ourselves out there in our community. Like I feel more a part of the community. I feel more connected with people, and it's just family. So.
And while we were going to these different parties and interacting with people who were in our, like I want to just say age grade or whatever, in our generation, I was just kind of envisioning like these are relationships that we have cultivated that could potentially last. Like we could be just like our parents. Like these are going to be coming to our Igbo moms and our Uches, and like that. It's like a full circle moment because you understand why your dad is so excited about this moment, because it's just people connected with. This is our community. Like this is a moment. Like I'm just envisioning that within like 20, 30, 40 years. Like, wow, we gonna be in these same positions. Our kids is gonna be hosting our pre-uches, like, you know, so.
That's what I had thought. Oh, my bad.
I thought that was like dope because I'm just imagining the future, like, wow, we are the next generation. That's why our parents are really honest about marrying into the community and being involved and coming back because they see the bigger picture. Once you tap into the bigger picture, it's just a whole different vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what I told Tanina. I was like, are we turned into our dads?
For real? That's crazy.
I'm excited for the next one and the next one and the next one.
Wow, y'all. We really covered a lot. And it's just exciting to talk about these moments again. It gets me hyped for the next time we're going to go. And I'm just appreciative to have you all there in my corner to experience this with you guys and then experience this with all the people that we met too. Like, Abiriba is just pure vibes, pure enjoyment. Like, I really don't know how else to sum it up. Like, if I had to say 2 words, pure enjoyment. Honestly, I just want to inspire other people to make sure that if they have an opportunity, go back home, know your roots. Mm-hmm. Like, we say this a lot on this podcast, but you won't get it unless you actually go. Like, don't hesitate. The next time you're trying to book a trip out of the country to somewhere else, like, see if there's any way you can make those plans to go back to where you're from, you know. Yeah. Even if you're not sure if you have like a huge family unit there, still experience it in some way to some capacity, because there's nothing like that connection that you feel when you're back there. Like, nothing like it, because it's a part of you. It's literally you. Like, the people are you there. It's just, it all comes around full circle. So what gems would you all give to someone who's seeing this and they're just inspired to go back home, wherever it is that they're from?
I would say, don't let fear hold you back from experiencing new things. Because it's just a made up feeling. It's a made up emotion. You know what I mean? So don't ever let fear hold you back from accomplishing your dreams, from experiencing new things, anything like that. Like, I literally moved to Houston, never been to Texas, never been to Houston, and I drove 21 hours from LA to Houston by myself. So, like, just never let fear hold you back from anything you set out to do in life, especially when it comes to knowing your roots or knowing where you're from. Like, if you're from Jamaica and you don't have any family and you never been, you should still go to Jamaica or go to, you know, Cuba, wherever, Nigeria, Ghana, and just experience it and experience that culture.
Well, as you were speaking, there were so many things that came to mind. There were so many gems that I could possibly drop. But I think the main thing that stood out to me and what I want to say is who you are is beautiful. So whether you're from any part or any corner of this world, like, where you come from is beautiful. You have significance within your culture. And just learning about different traditions or any part that is your favorite part of your ethnic background, it adds value to you because you're just strengthening your knowledge about yourself. And once you know who you are and where you come from, you have a stronger foundation to stand on and to face the world. And you're adding more to the world because you're just so sure about who you are. So yeah, I would just say who you are is beautiful. You can't let anybody tell you where you're from. You have to go and extract that knowledge for yourself and just truly immerse yourself in that and embrace it fully. Yeah, that's why I'm brushing up on my history.
Oh my God. Shout out to the author. I will say my gem kind of goes along with the song that kept playing in my head as I'm in Abiriba is Keys to the Kingdom from the Beyonce album. Because I just feel like every time I go home, I'm just, like I said, I'm learning more about myself. I'm through learning about my family, learning about history, but also like we are the future, we're the present and the future. So it's just like, I always feel like I'm clicked into a link anytime I go home. And I think it's just been really interesting to think about this last trip in particular. Like we're grown adults, independent lives ourselves, and we are at this point where we're thinking about making our own families and making decisions on whether we want to continue certain traditions or whether certain things die with our parents' generation. So it's like, take the opportunity, especially now as a 20-something, to really just figure out who you are, where you come from, and then just build your own tradition from that. So that's my biggest takeaway from this trip.
I love that, Anna. You said,
I was like, how do I even go after that? Like what I said before and just put it here. No, but I like to echo everything that you all said. I think all of those are good tips and components to getting the courage to want to do it. And to add on to that, I definitely want to put emphasis on the fact that there is not a perfect time to go. That's not like, there is no perfect time. Right now is the perfect time, you know? I think a lot of people kind of hold off these things and they kind of say to themselves like, oh, I would love to go. I wish I can go. Like one day, hopefully I can go. It's very feasible, especially if it's something that you intend to do and want to do. Make that your goal. Turn it into a goal to have the means to be able to go experience that. Or if people don't want to go with you, find a way that you can safely go by yourself to experience it. I think a lot of times people wait on others or they're waiting on a family member to experience things. Like, how powerful would that be to be like, hey, this is something I really wanted to do. I actually went and experienced it for myself, or even another person who was down to go, and now I could tell you about what you missed out because I experienced a feeling like no other, being back home and getting more grounded and getting more connected. And I know more of who I am. I think that's like the biggest part. And it's really unexplainable until you go out and do it. You really learn and uncover more about who you are. And it's just like natural. It's not forced or anything. It's just the results of being a part of an environment that you were bred from. You know? So
you hit a whole different level of like just grinding, you know.
Yeah.
Connection, like what is that word, like when you have a revelation, like it just
epiphany.
An epiphany. So just go out and do it. So y'all, thank you again for joining us on another episode of the First Gems podcast. Thank you so much, Uba, for joining us today. It was lovely having you on and recapping the most epic trip ever, but it's not the last epic trip. So yeah, thank you, y'all.
Also, our shirts.
Don't forget to get your shirts. There's a limited edition. Once it's gone,
grab your copy now.
Yes, grab yours now, because who knows, we may or may not restock these, so go get yours.